was based off of Matthew 21:22. And whatever you ask in prayer, you will receive if you have faith. How can I pray in faith, believing God for the answer, when I realize that if it's not in his will, the answer will be no?
Okay, so when you pray, you're not going to know what God's will is. So how would you even be able to make the last statement of what the will of God is? You won't know whether it's the God's will or not God, or it is God's will, because it's faith. So if you're praying for, a husband to be saved, a child to not be wayward and come back to Christ, I mean, you can pray for the will of God to be done in faith, but since you don't know what that particular end result's going to be, you can, in faith, ask God to do these things and believe that he can do them, but then you have to be subservient to what you think his will is best for you. It's like in Luke chapter 11, verses 11 through 12, where Jesus says if a son comes to a father and asks him for, an egg, is he going to give him a serpent? The answer is no. He's only ever going to give you what is best for you. That's his will for you, but you're not going to ever know what's best for you. So by faith, you have to pray as best you can with a finite mind what you believe to be the best for you, but you also have to put in the proviso, but God, might your will be done, not my will. It's just kind of like what Jesus said in the garden, because you don't know what is best, but you want God's best, his will for you. So I don't know if this is answering the question, but it's praying for the will of God and being faithful and praying that is done in your life, and asking big things for God, but then being faithful and humble enough to accept what he gives you, and knowing that what he gives you is going to be the best possible thing that he could give you. Well, like case in point, okay, like when my dad had brain cancer and I was moving here, I did not want to leave him, and I went to go see him several times a day because his rest home was right by my house, or my office. And I prayed many times for God to heal him, which would have been awesome. But God took him because God knew the best for me. Even though I asked in faith for him to heal him, the best for me was for him to take my dad before I left, so I could come here and not be emotionally distraught over being 3,000 miles away from a declining father. And so what seemed to be worst case scenario at the time when he died turned out to be the best possible thing, because then I was free to move here and not be emotionally distraught over being so far away and not being able to care for him. So praying for the will of God in faith, but being man enough, as it were, to say to God, but let your will be done. And if that is you taking him home, then I will embrace that as best for me, and I will learn from that.
Hard prayer. Sometimes it's.
Isn't there?